In the history of Major League Baseball, only one man has managed teams in all 4 divisions. He's led his teams to several division, league, and World Series championships. He's known as a man with complete knowledge of every aspect of the game, and his reputation for strategy is well respected. He's managed the Boston Red Sox, the Oakland A's, the Montreal Expos, and he's now leading the San Diego Padres. He is Dick Williams.
At first glance, this looks like an empty field. A little grass, a little dirt. I'm Dick Williams, manager of the San Diego Padres, and this is a gem. A diamond shining in America for over 100 years. If you love the game as much as I do, you want to know as much about the basics of playing the games as is possible. Power Basics will give you this and much, much more.
It's called America's Pastime, and it's built on legends. Ruth, Garrick, Campanella, Koufax, Cobb, Young, Hornsby. Born from the English game of cricket and rounders, it came to America where stakes were used for bases, and a runner was put out by hitting him with the ball as he ran from post to post. The team that scored 21 aces, or runs, won the game. It was Alexander Cartwright who in 1846 created the rules and organized the first official game. As interest grew, rules changed, and gloves were introduced. Today, the game of baseball is played around the world in almost every country. And here in the United States, it's still the American pastime.
Baseball is a game of fundamentals: pitching, hitting, running, and fielding. The most active position on the team is the pitcher, and one of the most respected in the game today is Jerry Royce of the Los Angeles Dodgers.
You know, on top of everything that I've talked about, there are probably still some things that have to be said concerning pitching. And there are 3 segments. I've broken pitching down into 3 segments as far as being very successful. One is when you're pitching, the most important thing about delivering that ball is your location. You've got to put that ball in the spot where you want. If you want to throw that ball to the outside corner, get it to the outside corner. Make sure you have that location. The second most important thing is movement on the ball. Movement on the ball, as I defined to you fellas earlier, if I were to have a string from here and right down the middle to the catcher, any movement would be deviation from that string right there. So that's the second most important thing about pitching. And third, I guess, would be the velocity of the ball. Simply because if you don't have location and you don't have movement on the ball, it's just a matter of time before the hitters catch up with a particular pitch that you have. So remember it, if you can, in this order. It is, first of all, location, movement of the pitch, and the velocity. Take those things with you. Good luck to you, and have fun while you're out there in the field. The first thing you have to do, gentlemen, is make sure that you're comfortable here on the mound. Assume a position that's comfortable to you prior to getting your sign from the catcher. You look into there, see the catcher, and you get your sign. Okay, now you're ready to start your action. First step, of course, is going to be backwards, but you still have to keep your body in a vertical position. As you do that, you start back, you keep your hands high so that you still have full view of the catcher. Your foot is still in contact with the rubber. At this point, what you're going to do is turn to where you still have contact with that rubber. Come around like this. You're going to be in position right here where you're still comfortable, and it's coming through and delivering the ball. Your follow-through is going to be such that you are still comfortable with both feet, because once you release the ball, you now become a fielder. You've got to not only be a pitcher, be a fielder. Be ready to go cover first base if you have to, if the ball is hit to the right side of the field, or if you have to go and back up a base, whether it be third base or even home. You now become a fielder at this point.
Let's take a quick look at what we just learned. Hide the ball as you bring the glove up, and keep your eyes on your target. Keep your foot on the rubber, and turn it as you start your delivery. Keep yourself balanced, stay comfortable, and be ready to field the ball. Watch the delivery in slow motion.
Let's talk to Benny right now and see what you can do, Benny, about your delivery. Let's take a look at you and see how you throw. Good. First thing you do, get the sign you're comfortable. It was a good pitch. Okay, try it one more time. A couple of things I think we want to talk about. Pretty good. Okay, let's stop right there. One of the first things I saw you do when you were standing on the mound is that as you started your abbreviated windup, you didn't take your hands over your head, which is okay too. You started your windup and you took your eyes off of your target. You've got to keep your eyes on that target at all times. The second thing, on your delivery, as you delivered the ball, you didn't come follow through. You kept the ball like this, and therefore causing the ball to stay up in the strike zone. What you got to try to do is hit a particular spot on that plate, get an idea of where you want to throw it, and follow through, and make yourself become that fielder after you throw the ball. Let's try it one more time. Get your sign. It's a lot better. You notice the improvement? You kept the ball down. It wasn't in the strike zone, but if you're going to make a mistake, you make a mistake low, it's not going to hurt you. You make a mistake up in the strike zone, that's where you find doubles and home runs. Let's try it one more time.
In the split frame on the left, the pitcher's eyes are fixed on the target. On the right, the pitcher's looking away and not staying on the target as he should. Watch Jerry do it again in slow motion and notice how his entire body works together.
Pitching would be somewhat like hitting in the fact that you've got to have a certain rhythm, a certain deception to the hitter, because when he gets in there, he's going to be making himself comfortable as he can possibly be and look for a particular pitch off of a pitcher. And what you've got to do is find a way to upset his rhythm without upsetting your rhythm. But there are certain tricks, certain things that you can do to keep your pitching motion and your delivery in mind and yet deceiving him, because all he's trying to do is hit what he's seeing. Sometimes what he sees is not actually what you're doing. You can do this a combination of ways. You can throw different pitches, for instance, different speeds of pitches, a fastball that may tail away from a right-handed hitter, a fastball that may go into a right-handed hitter. You may throw a breaking ball at a particular time. He is looking for a pitch based on what he sees when you're winding up. Okay, so now you can change speeds. You can do it a number of different ways, maybe even come from a different direction, not directly overhand, maybe little three-quarters, maybe sometimes even sidearms, although I wouldn't suggest getting in the habit of throwing sidearm. But there are other things you can do. Hide the ball the best way that you can is probably what you have to do right here. And by hiding the ball, you don't want that hitter to see that ball to get that extra advantage. So you get your sign from your catcher. You start your windup. As you start your windup, you keep that ball hidden. You notice that if you were a hitter, until I deliver this ball, you won't see it until I throw it. I'm at a point like this, still have the balance, looking to throw it, and I have. He didn't see anything from me until the ball actually left my hands. Take away as much advantage from the hitter as we possibly can.
Remember to hide the ball in your glove so that the hitter can't see it at all until you actually release it.
Okay, Jeff, let's take a look and see what you can do up here. Okay, try another one. Pretty good, right down the middle. Not much, you can't ask much more than that. Something else I wanted to point out that I just saw is that you had a tendency while you're here to keep your hands open like this. Now a hitter, especially the smarter hitters, will get a chance to see how you're gripping the ball or possibly how you're moving your wrist. What you've got to do at all times is keep that ball hidden from that hitter. Don't give him any more of an advantage than he feels he already has. So as you're winding up, keep that ball hidden. He can't see your wrist and he can't see the pitch. Try it one more time. Not bad, except your body was quicker than on your delivery. Try this time with the glove. Try to keep it back. Just keep going. You go this high. You have a habit, and you've gone back this far. That defeats your purpose of covering up the ball. Keep that glove right about here. okay? And then just come through, keep your eyes on that catcher, and then come all the way through in your follow-through. You may have to exaggerate it to keep the ball down in the strike zone. One more time. Threw the pitch very well, no question about that. It was right down the middle, but you still had that problem back there.
You want to stop here?
Yeah, try to stop there because there's really no sense of bringing it back here. It doesn't help your delivery anymore to bring it back that far.
On the left, you can see how it's supposed to be. But look at the pitcher on the right. His glove is way over his head and the ball is easily visible. Watch Jerry in slow motion and notice how you never see the ball until it's too late.
The next things I want to talk about are the grips of the pitches. All right, we're going to talk first of all about the fastball, the curveball, and possibly a changeup. All right, the most important thing about any grip of any pitch is that it's comfortable to you. You may be trying something for the first time, but give it a chance to work with it to see exactly what you can do with a particular pitch. Let's go first with the fastball since that's the primary pitch that most everyone is taught. There are two different schools of thought on a fastball, at least that I've learned. I was taught early to use four seams rotating. By what I mean by four seams rotating is such that you throw the ball so that when you release it, you have four seams rotating in a direction like this. The more seams that you have rotating, the more movement that you're going to have on the pitch. Now, what I mean by movement is deviation from its normal path, its projected path. If you were to hold out a string from the pitcher's mound to home plate, you would have a direct line. Movement is any deviation off that direct line. And it seems that when you throw it with four seams, you get more movement that way. When I throw a ball like this, I get more movement than I do with any other grip. Of course, when I throw this pitch from this grip, I'll try to throw the ball inside to a right-handed hitter, causing it to deviate in toward the right-handed hitter.
Try to watch the movement on the ball. Notice that the pitch moves inside on a right-handed batter.
The second grip that I have for a fastball would be with the seams as opposed to across the seams, which I just showed you. Now, with the seams means that you take this part of the baseball right here, these two seams, hold it like this, and throw it such that now this pitch, to me, will go away from a right-handed hitter.
Can you pick up the movement? Now you can see how the change of grip brings the fastball away from the right-handed hitter.
I have one pitch of fastball that has two different directions, into a right-handed hitter and away from a right-handed hitter.
Remember, the four seam moves into the right-handers. And the two seam moves away from the right-handed hitters.
The second pitch I want to show you basically is the curveball. Now, with a fastball, basically we're behind the ball like this. With a curveball, we're going to grip it like this, again having four seams rotating. This middle finger that you have will be the finger that pulls the ball through, such that when you throw it, it comes through like this, and the spin will come off like this, causing the ball to not only curve into a right-handed hitter, for me being left-handed, but yet down. It'll have a downward trajectory. In order for me to obtain the grip of the curveball, I take it such like this, so that my thumb balances it on the back, my middle finger is on the seam here, and the first finger acts as a guide, such that it is against the inside part of my hand, and when I release it, it comes off like this, so that the spin is such as this. You have four seams rotating again. The better rotation, the better the spin, the better the movement on the particular pitch. The ball will be rotating in this fashion as opposed to the fastball, which will rotate in this fashion.
Watch the action on the curve in slow motion.
The third pitch I want to show you is a changeup. Now, there are a number of different ways to throw a changeup, and there are a number of ways that you can be taught. The way that I throw it and throw it most comfortably is by grabbing the ball with, again, with 4 seams back here so that it touches these knuckles right here on the palm of my hand. What the fingers will do then will become a guide. I'll have the thumb underneath to hold the ball in. This finger will again act as a guide so as not to cause it to go away from home plate. When I release it, it will be released as a fastball would. But yet I'll have the same arm motion, and I can't possibly throw it as hard this way as what I could a fastball grip like this. So I'll have 3 fingers, bring it through like this. Okay, and so the ball actually be coming off these 3 fingers in this way. So mainly the changeup is a deceptive pitch. And what makes it deceptive is the way that you deliver the ball. You've got to have the same windup and the same delivery as you would a fastball, but yet the ball comes in there quite a bit slower.
Look at the difference between the fastball on the left and the changeup on the right. The motion is the same, but the fastball gets to the plate a bit sooner. When you master the grip and body motion, you're only part way to learning to pitch.
Okay, fellas, now that we've gone through the windup, we've gone through the gripping of pitches, let's talk about now you have a runner on first base. You've got to decide at this time whether what you're trying to do is hold him on to first base or whether you're going to try to pick him off. First thing you got to do is the same thing you do when you're in the windup. You got to get on the rubber and get your sign from the catcher. And I do it like this. A lot of pitchers prefer to bend over, do whatever it is they like to do. I like to stand up. Any way you do it and it's comfortable is fine. You've got your sign, you go into your stretch. You know what you're going to do. In this particular case, I know I'm going to throw over there. I know that he's in a situation where he could steal a base. I know he's in a situation because he's a good base stealer and because the situation in the game calls for it. I'm in the stretch. Basically what you want to do, and the rules say you must maintain contact with a rubber. You see you want to throw over there, you must step in that direction and throw to the first baseman. Okay? So move right here. You're looking directly at him. Pick your leg up and throw to first base. Now, after a while, a good base stealer is going to learn to get your timing as you would a pitcher, just as he would as a hitter. As a base runner, he can get your timing as a pitcher. So what you've got to do is have a variety of moves to first base to keep that runner close or to pick him off. So what you've got to do is something different, but yet not let him know until the last possible second. Again, you get your sign from the catcher. You go into your stretch, and from this position, you can go back to here, look there, look home, look there, maybe even look somewhere in between so he can't get his timing, and then throw over there. That's one way to do it. Another way for a left-handed pitcher to do it would be like this. You look in there, you get your sign. You go into your stretch, you're like this, and you can step off the mound like this and throw over to first base. Now, when you do this, your foot is off the mound. You don't have to move this leg toward first base. It's very simple. From this direction, it's like this. Step off and throw over to first base. It's another variation on a throw to hold the runner close or to pick him off.
In this pickoff, remember to step off the rubber before you throw. If you don't, you'll get charged with a balk.
Now what we're going to try to do is deceive him. We're not going to try to pick him off. We're going to try to just to keep him close. So now we're going to have a variety of moves to home plate. We get our sign from the catcher. He's looking over. Doesn't seem to have too big of a lead. So we'll pick our leg up and deliver to the plate. Now this time you'll get a little bit bigger lead, and you're going to have to show him something just a little bit different. He's confident, he knows your move, so now you're going to do something to try to change it. Come to the stretch again. You look there. See him with that bigger lead? Look a little bit, make him get on his heels. Now deliver to the plate. Only this time, don't kick the leg quite as high. This time go more directly to home plate with this kind of a motion, rather than a motion from up here and delivering the ball through. It makes your delivery to the plate a lot quicker, and it doesn't give him as much of a chance to get a good jump on you.
Here on the left side, you see the full kick to the plate. On the right side is the quick pitch. These moves help keep the base runner off guard.
And with a right-hander, it's a little bit different because you're not facing the base runner. So what you will do is still maintain the basics. You're going to try to hold the runner on. You get your sign, look. If you don't see him out of the corner of your eye, you know he's probably got too big of a lead, so it's a matter of turning and throwing to first base. It's the same thing for a right-hander, except there's a big difference with a base runner with a right-handed pitcher. He can't see where your hands are, whereas a left-handed pitcher, he can. So from here, you can come like this, turn, and throw quickly. Again, you can use the other technique of giving him a variety of moves, making him wait, and wait, and wait, and then quickly going to home on your delivery. There's a number of ways you can keep that runner close. Remember that the runner, for most part, steals the base off the pitcher and is slow move to the plate. In other segments, we talked about a pitcher fielding his position after delivering the pitch. In this particular segment, we're going to talk about covering first base.
Being a pitcher means much more than just throwing a ball. It means defense too.
First thing we're going to do is go through a walkthrough to show you exactly what you should be doing. Of course, everything begins with the pitcher throwing the ball. Okay, he sees the ball's hit toward the first base side. He comes along to where he is now parallel to the first base line, gets that ball from the first baseman, tags the base, and comes off of it like that. This time we're going to try it with the ball actually being hit so that you can see the actual timing. Simple as that.
Remember to come to the baseline, then quickly to first base. Remember to touch the inside of the bag to avoid the oncoming runner. Let's watch a student try.
Now, there are other times, of course, when things don't always go that smoothly. And in this particular situation, what will happen is that the ground ball will be hit to the first baseman. He'll fumble it, and the pitcher, in effect, will become the first baseman once he gets to the bag. So let's try that. Plant your feet and take the throw and come off the base like that.
The movement is the same, but once you're at the bag, you have to plant your feet and stretch for the ball.
Of course, not each play is as simple and as cut and dried as a ground ball hit hard to the first baseman where the pitcher has to cover first base. There are other times when there are balls hit the first baseman may or may not be able to get to. So what the pitcher has to do in this particular case is field the ground ball himself and turn and throw to the first baseman who will be covering the bag. First thing, get over to the ball, plant your feet, turn and throw.
Come off the mound quickly, control the ball, plant your feet, and then throw. Remember, the pitcher must also assist whenever and however he can to keep the other club from scoring. Let's look at what we've learned. When you're pitching, try to keep a fluid motion. Keep your eye on the target, and try to hide the ball from the batter as long as possible. Remember that you can throw two kinds of fastballs, and that your grip on the seams determines which way each will go. For the curveball, grip with the thumb and middle finger, and guide the ball with the index finger. Hold the ball this way for the changeup. Remember, the motion and release are the same as with the fastball. Try to vary your rhythm when there's a man on base to make it more difficult for him to steal. When you must cover first, run to the line, then to the base, and touch the inside of the bag.
Baseball is a game you can play anywhere. On the beach, or the sandlot, to a modern stadium, but whether it's two boys playing catch or 18 players battling for the World Series, it's still a game of fundamentals. Baseball is a game of confrontation, a constant battle between pitcher and hitter. The pitcher wants an out and the batter wants a hit. In my 37 years in baseball, I've learned that it's the player who executes the fundamentals the best that wins the game.
One of the most exciting sounds in baseball is the crack of the bat, the impact of horsehide on wood. And one of the best sights is seeing the ball scooting through a hole or flying over the fence. One man who knows the sights and sounds of the game is an established power hitter. He co-holds the National League record for doubles by a catcher, and he hits for average. When the game's in the clutch, you want a man like the all-star catcher for the San Diego Padres at the plate. You want Terry Kennedy.
Well, I think the most important thing when you're hitting is try to get as many good swings as you can per at bat. That is to say, you want to hit good percentage pitches in your favor. Fastballs that you can get the fat part of the bat on, that you can drive the ball and hit it consistently hard each time up, because that's your goal, is to hit the ball hard somewhere so that you can hit for a higher average and you can drive the ball more, so you can drive in runs and hit properly in your place in the lineup.
Do you always swing to hit home runs?
Once in a while. It depends what time of the game it is. If it's from the 6th inning on and it's a one-run game, or it's tied where we need one run in a hurry to give us the win or give us the lead, then I'll try to hit a home run.
What's your favorite type of pitch to hit?
Oh, something over the middle of the plate, whether it's a fastball or curveball. I like something fat where I can get the fat part of the bat on the ball and try to hit it as hard as I can. First thing you guys got to do is find a bat that's comfortable for you. Not too heavy, but not too light either. Somewhere in between, a happy medium, so you know when you step up to the plate it feels comfortable and you feel confident that you can get it around even on the guy with the best fastball. After you find the bat, you step into the box and find a comfortable place in relation to the plate. You don't want to be too far, because then you can't reach the outside corner, and you don't want to be too close, because that sets you up to get jammed on the inside corner. So you find, again, a happy medium. And the best way to do it is to measure it where you reach out and your arm and the bat is straight and you can touch the outside of the plate. Because then when you come up, the plate is covered by the bat, the whole bat. You get a stance that you can feel like you've got good center of gravity, and you feel comfortable where you can drive with your legs. And you don't want to be too close together where you have a long stride this way or way far apart so that you can't pivot your hips. In between, again, somewhere comfortable where you feel like you're almost sitting on a little stool. After you find your stance, you put your hands in a comfortable position. Some people it's comfortable straight up. Some people it's comfortable at a 90-degree angle back here. Somewhere, wherever it feels comfortable for you and how you can get the job done, that's how you put your hands. There's no one way to do it. But you don't want to get them too far back in here, because it takes a long time to get them around. And you don't want to get them too far out here, because you won't have any power when you get to the ball. Then again, it's a happy medium again, somewhere in between that feels good to you. And you put your hands where they feel comfortable. Then when you make your stride and your foot hits, soon after your foot hits, the hands come through the strike zone, the hitting area here. Then you make contact and go on through the ball.
Let's review these basics to help us remember each step. When you walk to the plate, remember to touch the outside of it with your bat. Get your body in a comfortable position. Balance your weight evenly. Don't stride too far, because you need to be able to rotate your hips. Find a comfortable head and bat position, not too far back or forward. It's important to find the stance that's best for you.
Okay, it's what I said about balance. It comes into play here. You got a little bit too much on your back foot. What that does is that makes you shift all your weight to your front foot, and it's going to make you commit too soon. So you want to balance a little bit, 50-50 on each foot, or even more, a little more on the front foot, not much. That's better. All right.
Notice the proper stance on the left. And on the right, notice that there's too much weight on the back foot. Stay balanced. Don't stand too far from the plate. If you do, you can't reach the outside corner with the bat. The proper stance is one of the basics you must know to become a successful hitter. The more you practice, the better hitter you will be.
So after you find your position in the box, and then the pitcher's making his move to you, making the pitch. You ready? And as you stride, like I said, you drive with your back leg, and the weight is on the inside of your feet in here. Almost like your knock-kneed, because what that does is that lets you use that power of the back leg to drive this way, and it lets you stop and hit against the front leg, the inside of the foot of the front leg, so that you can hit behind this foot. And that's what all the home run hitters do. They hit behind this foot and you hit against it. You don't want to go here and then let this leg collapse like this. You hit against it. You start square at the pitcher. This hip goes at the pitcher. And if you're a right-handed hitter, it would be this hip, obviously. But it goes at the pitcher this way. You go square into the ball. You stay squared up until you're going to commit to swing the bat. Till you see the pitch, you see it's a good pitch, then you swing. So it's just drive with that back leg and hit against the front leg like this. Then you spin on the back foot this way, which makes the hips go. And it's easier to think of it spinning on your back foot than it is thinking of swinging your hips, because sometimes you just sort of lose your balance this way. But you don't lose your balance when you pivot on your back toe. You start to swing and then you pivot on that back toe, and it gives you that extension where your hips throw your hands this way, and you get extension, which gives you distance and lets you hit the ball hard. Then if you don't use your hips, your hands, and you swing all upper body, it's going to be like that, and that's what it looks like. And there's not a whole lot there.
Remember to step straight at the pitcher, spin on your back toe, hit behind the front foot, and have a smooth follow-through.
Okay, remember, when you start, go ahead and stand up. When you start your swing, remember to spin on this foot and get your hips going into the ball. Go ahead and try it. Good swing. You see, your balance was much better that time. The first swings you took, you were falling back. Try it again. Good swing.
Can you spot the common mistake this batter's making? In slow motion, you can see he's bending his front knee and not hitting against the front leg. You can see Terry doing it properly on the left. The batter on the right needs more practice.
Okay, that's a good example of spinning on that back foot. You're not using your legs at all. You're swinging all upper body. So what you want to do is spin on that back foot, which makes your hips turn, and it'll give you more power and more extension to get out front. All right, good. That's better.
It looks so simple when it's done right, but it takes a lot of practice.
Even in the big leagues, the single most important fundamental is still looking at the ball. It cannot be overstated, the importance of this. So after you determine the pitcher's release point, you pick the ball up from his hand, you watch it all the way in to the area where you're going to make contact, here. Then you do not, after the bat goes through the hitting zone here, you do not follow the ball after you hit it. Your head stays here. Because when you do try to see where you're going to hit the ball, sometimes you leave the ball too soon, and you're actually leaving the ball when it's halfway, and you're like this, and you don't see the ball back here in the hitting zone. So you want to look at the ball all the way, try to see it hit the bat. It's fairly impossible, but it's a good way to practice it and get in a good habit. Try to see the ball hit the bat, and then don't follow the ball after you hit it. Okay, let's try a few. Why don't you guys move on back here?
Notice Terry's head position as he swings and how he tries to see the ball hit the bat.
Okay, let's try it. Okay. Seems like you're leaving the ball when it's out here. So you want to remember what I said, when you make contact, don't follow the ball after you hit it. So you're almost taking this side of your face and leaving it right here when you hit, and you stay right there and your hands go past your face. Go ahead and try it again. Dangerous over here. That's it. That's it.
In slow motion, look at this player's improvement after Terry's pointers. The head position is good, and his eyes look for the impact of the ball.
Remember not to move your head too much this way, laterally. Don't get going like this. It's got to pretty much stay still. So you want to stay behind the ball and let your hands get past your face. Don't let your head do this too much. Keep it still.
This batter is clearly not in proper balance. This batter has proper head and body position. If you practice the basics such as keeping your eye on the ball, you'll improve your hitting and have more fun playing the game.
Okay, after you've gone into the ball and you made your approach and you decided you're going to swing and the hands are going to come through the hitting zone, the knob of the bat leads to the ball this way. You come through this way. And the head of the bat should be above your hands or even with your hands, not this way. So then it usually results in a fly ball, you miss the ball. So the knob leads this way and the head of the bat is up. And as you come through, it's like chopping a tree. When you hit the ball, your hand should be square like this. Like if you had an axe and you were chopping a tree, you'd hit it like that. And as you make contact, then you turn over afterwards. The top hand turns over after you make contact there and rolls over, and then you finish. Finish is not important. What's important is what happens right here in the hitting zone. You hit the ball square like this, then you turn over and let the bat go wherever it wants. All right, lefty, let's check it out. Okay, remember, go ahead and put your hands out here like you're going to start. Okay. The knob leads here. Then you make contact there. Then you just turn over after that. That's it. And let it finish. Good swing. That away. One more time. Good.
Watch this hitter try. Everything looks good until he makes contact with the ball. His hands are clearly out of position. Look again at Terry's swing. What's wrong with this swing? Right. The bat head is below the hands. You have to keep the bat head above the hands to be a successful hitter. Practice hard and try to visualize yourself swinging just like this, and you may end up hitting like this. Knowing the basics and practicing them as much as you can will make you a better hitter. Let's review what we've learned so far about hitting. Touch the outside of the plate with the bat when you step into the batter's box. Get your body comfortable. Don't stride too far. Your hips must rotate. Step straight at the pitcher. Spin on your back toe. Hit behind your front foot and against the front leg. Watch the ball as it comes into the hitting zone, but don't try to follow it after you've made contact. Try to see the ball hit the bat. Point the nub end of the bat at the pitcher on the swing. Keep the bat head above the hands. Keep the hands square on impact. And rotate them after contact with the ball.
Hitting every 2 or 3 innings as part of the lineup is of major importance. But what about pinch hitting? On our team, Kurt Bevacqua has the ability to execute very successfully those abilities of a superb pinch hitter. In tight game situations, something as simple as a bunt can decide who wins the game.
I don't look at it as I've only got one at bat. You know, it's tough being a pinch hitter. I get myself ready. I'm prepared when the time comes. I'm loose. I've got an idea what the pitcher's throwing because I've been watching him. A pitcher will go with the pitch if he's getting guys out in certain situations. So you have to look for that. And an important part is being ready and being loose mentally as well as physically.
Here you go, TK.
You have to have the mental preparation. I think that's a very important factor in being a pinch hitter. And believe in yourself. When I go up to the plate, I think I'm the best. The pitcher's got to get me out because I'm the best pinch hitter in the game of baseball. And that's the way you've got to look at it. You don't say, well, Steve Carlton's on the mound, boy, he's a good pitcher. You get up to the plate and you say, I'm whoever you are, and Steve Carlton's got to get me out because I'm the best. And that's the mental part of it. And the physical part of it, just take care of itself. If you can do it and you work on it hard enough, you'll be able to do it. Okay, you have 2 basic types of bunts. You have your sacrifice bunt, and you have your bunting for a base hit. And they tell you what you're going to do by their names. A sacrifice is simply exactly what it says. You're going to sacrifice yourself for the good of the ball club. You want to advance the runners. You want to get them in scoring position. If there's a man on first and second, or if there's a man on first, you want to bunt the ball. You want to get it down. That's the most important thing, is to get the ball down in fair territory and not right back to the pitcher. If you bunt the ball anywhere between the 2 white lines and it's not directly back to the pitcher, a bigger percentage of the time than none, you're going to sacrifice the runner. Just square around and try to get the ball to hit towards the end of your bat, because it'll make the ball die instead of hitting the ball hard. And if you do happen to hit the ball back to the pitcher, then he won't be able to field it and throw your lead runner out, because that's the guy you want to advance to get him in the scoring position. So you just square around. The high pitch is the tough one when you're bunting. It's tough to lay off this high pitch because the other thing you don't want to do is pop the ball up. It'll put you in possibly a double play situation, or you're not going to advance the runner at all. So you want to try to get the ball to where it's eye level, get your eye down, and just bunt the ball on this part of your bat right here and make the ball die.
Remember to turn your body. Move your hands to the proper position and watch the ball into the bat. Make sure that you bunt the ball down so that you can advance the runner. Here we see Kurt bunting up the first base line. Now he's aiming it toward third. Position the bat so the ball goes in the proper direction.
Now the other type of bunt that you have is bunting for a base hit. And that's just what you want to do. You want to get on base, and a bunt base hit's as good as a line drive somewhere. You've got two places where you want to bunt the ball for a base hit. You want to bunt the ball if the second baseman and first baseman are playing you fairly deep. You want to bunt the ball just about between the second and the first baseman where the grass and the dirt meet. Or if it's artificial surface, then you've got your problems. You've got to know the area that you want to do it in. But you just want to, when the pitch is on its way, you'll be watching the pitcher and you push the ball this way. You want to push it right out in that area. And then all you have to do is beat the pitcher to the first base, because the first baseman's got to go for the ball. Now the other area is right down the third baseline. Now when you're making this bunt, you do not want the pitcher to field the ball and throw you out. You either want to make it a base hit or a foul ball. So you're going to be a lot finer with bunting for a base hit than you would be sacrificing. But when you lay the ball down, you want to lay the ball down either right on the line or maybe 3 or 4 feet in. You don't want the pitcher to throw you out. That's the only thing you don't want to happen. If the third baseman makes a good play on you, give him a little credit. So when you're looking for a bunt down the third baseline, you want to hit that bunt out in here. You get yourself started and hit that bunt out in here. So the angle of the ball and the bat meeting is going to put the ball right out in that area. And this is something that you have to practice.
Watch in slow motion as he bunts toward third base. Now slow motion towards first. As Kurt has explained, when bunting for a sacrifice, place the ball on either side of the pitcher's mound and the bunt should be successful. When bunting for a hit, either place the ball down the third baseline or in the area between the first and second baseman at the edge of the infield grass.
Terry, you've been a very consistent hitter throughout your major league career. What tips can you give the kids on retaining that consistency on a daily basis?
Well, I think it's important to use batting practice constructively. Make sure you're looking at the ball in batting practice. Don't follow it after you hit it. Hit the ball the other way to keep your swing in a groove. And make sure that you use the time well and not just swing and try to see how far you can hit the ball. And in your case, where you don't play every day, Kurt, how do you stay in a groove? You know, you're playing different positions and being a utility man and our right-handed pinch hitter. How do you stay in a groove?
Well, I follow the same format as you do. I try to hit the ball the other way when I take batting practice and back through the middle, because you fall into bad habits if you try to yank the ball and you don't play on a daily basis. Your front shoulder will come out, your front hip, and those are very important factors as far as keeping your head in on the ball. So if you try to hit the ball back the other way or to right field and up the middle, then you can keep your stroke down. I think pepper is very important. If you play pepper daily or every other day, you keep your eye on the ball, and I think pepper is a very important factor on keeping your eye on the ball throughout the times that you're not playing.
Winning the game is, of course, very important, and you can't do it without good hitting. If you're going to win, like pitching and fielding, hitting is one of the basic elements of baseball. As we all know, baseball is a game of skills: pitching, hitting, running, and fielding. And you already know that in this game, when you hit the ball, you have to run from base to base. That's a skill you need to learn, and learn well. One of the best base runners in baseball is Garry Templeton.
The first thing you should do is pick up your base coach to see what type of sign he's going to give you, whether it's a steal, hit and run, take, or whatever. And then once you get your sign, you want to turn and pick up your outfielders and your infielders to see where they have positioned themselves so that if the ball is hit, you'll have an idea of how far you can go, first, second, third, or home. Then you walk out and you take your lead. And your lead is whatever you can take. Okay, some people can take a shorter lead, some people take a bigger lead. Okay, then the next thing is once you get your lead and the ball is hit, you never want to run straight at second base. What you want to do is you want to veer out just enough to where you can make your turn. Make a good turn so that you can possibly make it to third base, depending on where the ball is hit. So you get out here, you done got your sign, and the ball is hit, and your first reaction should be, once the ball is hit, is to have a crossover step. You cross over, and you do that. You never shuffle.
In slow motion, you can really see the crossover step. Remember, don't shuffle.
All right, how about a couple of you guys trying it? Come on over. Now started. A little bit too far out. Yeah, that's good. That was real good, except for one thing. You might have went just a little too far out, but I know that was real good, though. You came straight at the bag, and then you veered out about halfway. That was real good. Just might have went a little too far out, but that was real good.
To set up the turn as you round the base, remember to veer out as you approach the bag. Don't forget the crossover step.
To be a good base runner, you have to be smart. You have to use your head. It's not necessarily, guys that steal bases are not your smartest base runners. I've seen guys that couldn't run a lick, and they were the smartest base runners because they knew where the position of the outfielders and infielders were. They knew what their speed was, and they knew what kind of arms the guys had in the field. Okay, to be a good base stealer, the first thing you have to do is get a good lead. And what I mean by getting a good lead is get a lead to where you can get back. Most base stealers prefer to take a three-step lead. And a three-step lead is 1, 2, 3. And that's the maximum for any base stealer. It's so that once he gets out here, this is a maximum, he can take one step back and touch the bag. Now, there's various ways that you can steal, and the theory that I found best, that works best of all, is get your feet square underneath you. About shoulders width. A good base stealer throws his left arm to get a turn. So if you're in here, and you're watching the pitcher, and he's getting ready to pitch, you see his knee break, the left shoulder comes. Once the shoulder comes, that helps you to stay down because you don't want to come up when you're stealing a base. You want to stay down until you get about halfway. You get in here, you pick up the pitcher, you get relaxed, and you see the break in the leg, the arm comes, you cross over and you pump, short step. then you just pump right on up out of it. It's just almost like a sprinter coming out the blocks.
Remember to take a 3-step lead. Get your feet shoulder-width apart. Watch the pitcher. Throw your left arm towards second base. Take a short first step. You should come out like a sprinter leaving the blocks.
Okay, the next guy try to steal.
In slow motion, you can see that the runner stands up too soon, and he didn't throw his arm as he should have. Let's take a look at our runner's feet. They're definitely too far apart. As he starts his slide, he doesn't go straight for the bag. Remember, the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line.
You want to keep your eyes on the pitcher. If it's a right-handed pitcher, the things you look for on a right-handed pitcher is his front leg. Because most right-handed pitchers, when they come set, in order for them to pitch, they usually have a break in their knee. The knee breaks a little bit. Once you see the knee break, you should break. Because if he breaks and he comes to first base, it's a balk. A left-handed pitcher is a lot easier to steal off than a right-hander, because a right-hander, he usually turns quicker and throws the ball harder, where a left-hander, he usually just comes up, looks at you, and most of them just lob the ball over. You don't see too many left-handers that throw the ball real hard. So you get out here and you take your lead on a left-hander, and the first movement you see him make, you go.
Remember to get a good lead. Your feet should be shoulder-width apart. Watch the pitcher. Throw your arm across your body. Make a crossover step. Keep low and go straight for the bag. In baseball, it's not always a battle with the pitcher and a runner stealing a base. It can also be a battle between the catcher and a base runner. Just ask Terry Kennedy.
All right, guys, why don't you come on around here? Let's talk about catching. The first thing, which is basic to catching, is the stance. So you want to find a stance that's comfortable and where you can move quick. That's about a little wider. You move your feet a little wider than your shoulders so that you can move quickly to the left or to the right, and you can come out and block balls and throw balls. And you find a stance that feels good to you, and you got to keep your rear end up a little bit so that you can move. You don't want it way down here. You don't want to be on your heels down like this. And you don't want your elbows inside. You want to be up on your toes and forward a little bit, and your hands out here so that you can move. So after you find your stance and you're ready to give the signs, you want to use your glove hand to block out the third base coach and anyone else that might be stealing signs down there. So you put your glove right here on your left knee. Put your hand between your legs here, up high, so your legs block it out from the first base coach, and you give your signs: fastball, curveball, slider, or change, whatever it be. Then you get up into your stance. You're ready to go. You give your target a nice low target. And as the ball's coming in, you turn your glove sideways here, which relaxes your hand and allows you to catch any pitch that's in the strike zone or out of the strike zone. So as the pitch is coming in, you just drop your glove a little bit. It relaxes your hand to let you move quickly.
Remember to keep the mitt on the left knee to block any view of the signals. Be sure to give the signals high between the legs. In the ready position, you give a low target. You're up on the toes and ready to move in either direction. Stay relaxed and balanced. As the ball comes in, turn the glove to relax your arm for the catch.
Now, when someone is stealing, you're down in your stance, and you know that the guy might steal the base. First move, after you get into your ready stance, you step forward with your right leg, and then you catch the ball with two hands. You take glove, ball, and all through the letters to the throwing area here, release point. Then you take your left foot, you take your stride, keep your eyes on second base bag, and throw through the bag. So let me try it.
Remember to step forward with the right foot. Catch the ball with two hands. Bring both hands across the letters and keep your eyes on the bag.
Good throw. And when you throw to second, remember you want to throw it to the chest, because if it's too high, you can still reach it, and if you do throw it low, then it'll be right on the bag. You don't want to aim for the bag, you want to aim right here for the chest. There it is. All right.
He makes a good catch, but notice that he pulls his hands apart too soon. Here you see Terry keeping his hands together. The student's hands are clearly separating. Let's repeat this once more. When you're throwing to second, you must step forward. Catch the ball with two hands. Bring your hands across the letters and keep your eyes on the bag. Mastering these points will definitely improve your skills.
Defense is a very important part to the game of baseball. Knowing how to field your position is another key to winning.
Okay, fellas. The first thing, and one of the most important things when you're playing in the infield, is you want to be comfortable. You want to get your balance. I prefer my shoulders being square up, down with my stance, have my stance squared up with my shoulders. And you have to have some type of movement when you're playing in the infield. And the only reason why I say movement is because when the ball is on its way, you want to come to a set position, somewhere set. You should have your knees bent and your glove down, so that if the ball is hit hard, the glove is already down. And you get your knees are bent and you stand on balance, so that you're catching the ball with your head up, and you can be able to look it right into your glove, and this hand should be over the top of the ball, so that if you get a bad hop, this hand can knock it down. It can also guard your face. You may want to make sure you stay down on the ball. You know, you can always come up better than you can go down on it, so that's one reason why you want to stay down on the ball.
Stay low, get your glove down early, and use two hands to control the ball. Here you can see why it's important to keep your body in front of the ball. If it takes a bad hop, you can still keep it in front of you and make the play.
The most basic play that you're going to come upon on being an outfielder is just the routine ground ball, the ball that gets through the infield for a base hit, or if it happens to be an error by one of the infielders and it gets by them. You just got to run in, you got to pick the ball up, and you got to know what you're going to do with it. Most of the time, you're going to go to second base with it. The shortstop will be out in a cutoff position. The second baseman will be on second base. It's very important that you hit the cutoff man. There's outstanding arms at the major league level. But players of your age and younger, your arms are still growing and they're not as strong as they're going to be. So you have to rely on the other players to get the job done. It's a team game, it's not an individual game. So don't try to do it all yourself. So just remember, when a ground ball comes to the outfield, you stay in front of it, you just pick it up, and you throw it into the base. It's not much different than playing an infield position. You try to stay relaxed, you don't tense up, because when you tense up, you tend to miss the ball more. Your muscles get tight, you go like this with your hands, and instead of the ball coming freely into your glove, where if you have that fluidness, you tense up and the ball will hit in your glove and bounce out.
Stay in front of the ball. Stay relaxed. Don't be afraid to drop to one knee. And when you throw the ball back in, throw it to the cutoff man. You must get your glove down on the approach. This player almost waited too long. Watch how Kurt does it correctly. Like other elements of baseball, fielding is one of the basics, and it takes practice to perfect.
Okay, on infield pop-ups, once the ball goes up, you flip your glasses, you go back on it, and then you come to it. And remember, you catch it off to the side, either to your left side or your right side, whichever one is more convenient for you. By this way, it helps you to watch the ball all the way into your glove. Because if you try to catch it over your head, a lot of times you're going to end up missing it, or a lot of times the ball might hit you in the head, or it's going to drop down.
Get your glasses down, move to the ball. Keep it on your throwing side so you can follow it into your glove. This fielder does it fine up until the catch. He catches it in front of his face instead of at the side. Watch in slow motion as Garry demonstrates the right way to do it.
Now, catching a fly ball, look, from sitting in the stands or watching it on television, looks like it might be the simplest thing to do in the world. But it can also make things hard on you and your ball club, because it's something that you have to work on. There's judgment involved. You have to have an idea of the ball coming off the bat, whether it's a right-handed hitter or a left-handed hitter, what position you're playing in the outfield. If you're playing left field, for instance, and there's a left-handed hitter up, most of the time, a big percentage of the time, if a left-handed hitter hits a ball to left field, the ball's going to be coming away from you this way, towards the left field line. Because the ball will slice, and it's got this rotation on it. And it's the same way if you're playing right field, and a right-handed hitter hits the ball to you in right field. The ball is going to be going towards the right field line because he sliced it. It's like this with the bat. He hit it back here instead of out in front. So you have to take those things into consideration. Where you want to catch the ball is also important. You want to catch the ball over this shoulder if you're right-handed, and over this shoulder if you're left-handed. Because if you catch the ball over here, you've got to reach up with this hand or bring the glove over to this hand in order to take it out and throw it. But if you position yourself before the ball comes down to your glove in this position here, then the ball is right there, you can go right in and catch it, and you can throw the ball.
Watch how off balance he is as he backs away from the ball. This is a definite improvement. Remember, glasses down, move under the ball, position yourself for the catch, and then throw. What's he doing wrong? Catching the ball over the wrong shoulder, using only one hand. and that means extra time to transfer and throw the ball. When it's done right, you can make the play and throw the ball back much quicker. Let's go back and look at what we've learned in these 3 programs on the power basics of baseball. When you're pitching, try to keep a fluid motion, keep your eye on the target, and try to hide the ball from the batter as long as possible. Try to vary your rhythm when there's a man on base to make it more difficult for him to steal. When you must cover first, run to the line, then to the base, and touch the inside of the bag. Remember to step straight at the pitcher, spin on your back toe, hit behind the front foot and against the front leg. Watch the ball as it comes into the hitting zone, but don't try to follow it after you've made contact. Try to see the ball hit the bat. Point the nub end of the bat at the pitcher on the swing. Keep the bat head above the hands, keep the hands square on impact, and rotate them after contact with the ball. When bunting for a sacrifice, place the ball on either side of the pitcher's mound, and the bunt should be successful. When bunting for a hit, either place the ball down the third baseline or in the area between the first and second baseman at the edge of the infield grass. When running from the base on a hit, remember to start with a crossover step. Don't shuffle, and keep your body low to gain speed. As you approach the next base, veer out as you approach it so you can round it. When stealing, take a 3-step lead, feet shoulder-width apart. Watch the pitcher. Throw your left arm across the body. Take a short first step. Slide straight at the base. When catching, keep the mitt on the left knee to hide your signals. Signal high between the legs. Give a low target. Stay relaxed and balanced. When you're throwing to second, you must step forward. Catch the ball with 2 hands. Bring both hands across the letters and keep your eyes on the bag. When playing the infield, get your glove down early. Stay in front of the ball and control it. Remember to catch flies on the throwing side of your body and to position yourself for the throw. Always hit the cutoff man.
Okay, I'm gonna give you guys a special tip, something that has helped me throughout my career that has always done a lot for my range, and that is when a ball is hit up the middle or is hit in the hole where I have to backhand the ball or I have to stretch for it, the thing that's helped me out a lot is that I always go after it like I'm stealing a base. So in other words, if it's hit to the backhand side, I do this to get to the ball. Make sure that I throw this arm just like I'm stealing a base to get to the ball, to the backhand side. And if it's hit up the middle, I do the same thing. I'm coming here and then I throw this to get to the ball. So that's something that has helped my range a lot. And that's one reason why I do have a lot of range, because I concentrate on throwing either hand to make sure I can get over there or get over there to catch the ball, and I go after it like I'm stealing.
When you're playing in the outfield, know everything you're going to do ahead of time before it even happens. There's really not that many situations that you're going to have playing the outfield. Know what you're going to do if a guy hits a double, what base you're going to throw to. And the most important factor on being an outfielder is hit the cutoff man. That's what they're there for. The shortstop and second baseman will be coming out somewhere into the outfield area when there's a ball hit in one of the gaps between left center or right center or down one of the lines. And if you don't use the cutoff man, it's going to cost your ball club runs. I guarantee it. I've seen it happen a lot, even at the major league level. But the more times you go through the fundamental part of the game and do it right, the more games that you're going to win.
You've seen that baseball is a game of fundamentals, and if someday you would like to be a big league player like Kurt Bevacqua, Terry Kennedy, Jerry Royce, and Garry Templeton, now's the time to start learning and practicing on your hitting, your pitching, your base running, and your fielding. I know Power Basics will help you improve your game and will give you direction for a solid future in baseball.